Good morning, 819S. Today it's heating up. I don't know the exact temperature now. It feels like 29:30. Temperature's going to be a little hotter today too. Humidity still pretty high. It's not so overcast anymore. I think it's going to be a clear day all day, which is great. And today I want to talk about the end of 50cc scooters and 50cc bikes in Japan. I think it's a really sad thing. I have a few ideas about it. Maybe some are obvious, some are not. But first, I think the end of 50cc bikes is the end of an era. I think they were always kind of iconic things here in Japan. They probably started before this, but in my mind they started with the monkey in Tamatek. There was a theme park in Tokyo run by Honda, where they built a bunch of small bikes that kids could ride around. Some of them were attached to amusement rides with bars, so that they weren't like flexibly steered. But some of them, I believe, were kind of you were free to ride them around. They were just like little toys, I think, and they turned into little transportation that people could drive around in the city. That and the Super Cub, and then obviously 50cc scooters like what I'm riding now. I think they're kind of a way of life here in Japan. You don't really need to take a very comprehensive test in order to get a license to ride a 50cc bike. It's a paper test only. It's fairly challenging. It's not the simplest thing in the world, but you do have to study for it. You do have to understand the rules of the road. But yeah, is kind of easy access to transportation for a lot of people. And I think it's going to continue to be that, but there's going to be some changes. If you have a car license, you can also ride a 50cc scooter, which I think is also cool. You don't have to go through the process of getting specific training for motorcycles or scooters. There's pros and cons to that, obviously. I think having a little bit of training to know how to ride safely and how to be safe on the road is probably a good thing. But at the same time, I think it lowers the barrier to entry, and these vehicles are relatively cheap. So I think it's good. Yeah. The next thing is the limitations on a 50, right? So if you ride a 50 now, you're legally limited to 30 kilometers per hour. And on most bikes, when you hit 30, a little over 30, maybe 35 to 40, depending on the bike, the little speed light will start flashing. I think that's so if you're driving by and the police are looking, maybe they can see that your light's on. I heard a person call it a snitch light before, because it tells the police that you're speeding. I don't know. It's kind of funny. I don't think it's necessary, but it is what it is. But the 30-kilometer speed limit makes sense on paper, but in my opinion doesn't make sense in real life. So for example, the road that we're on right now is actually 40. If you see up there, 40 kilometers per hour. That means that I have to drive 10 kilometers slower than everybody else on the road legally, and I have to stay to the left side of the road. It means everyone behind me needs to pass me. Like that guy just passed me there, and then another guy's coming up behind me, and then there's a whole line of cars coming up behind them. In my opinion, that makes a road like this a little bit more dangerous. And I've said in my past videos that a lot of people speed. I think if the speed limit is 40, you'll find a lot of people going 45 or 50. And then you'll find the rare person going 60, 65. But if I'm doing 30 and they're doing 50, that puts me in a kind of risky place. And then if I'm on a 60-kilometer road, which is possible on a Genski, I'm doing 30. If I break the law too, I'm doing 40, and then everyone else is doing 60. If they're breaking the law, they're doing 70. So the speeds are a little unsafe, I think. In my opinion, and this is not based on research or data or anything, I'm actually not even convinced that the Japanese number of 30 is based on that stuff, but in my opinion, 40 would be a safer speed, because it's fast enough to follow the legal speed limit on a road, on an average road, but not so fast that you need special motorcycle training in order to stay safe. No, I definitely understand that at 30 you can still do significant damage to your body and to property and other people, and at 40 you're doing even more than that. And every 10 kilometers you go up from there, you're doing more and more significant damage. So that's not lost on me. But I still think 40 is a reasonable speed because roads like this are 40. If I wanted to go on Route 16, it's 50, and then people can pass me, and then the passing speed will be a little bit more gentle compared to other roads. And I know I just said it's 10 degrees, 10 degrees. It's a 10 kilometers per hour difference, but I still think that I don't know, it feels different to me. The other one then is the two-step turn, Nidankai Usetsu. Here, there's only 2 lanes, so I can make a right turn directly here. So that's not a big deal, actually. But if there was a 3rd lane here, I would have to pull over there, turn around, and then go straight through here. With a low-powered bike, it makes perfect sense, because if you're sitting in the intersection there, and there's 2 lanes of traffic on the other side, and they're coming at you really fast, when the window opens for you to be able to turn, you might not have enough power to get the bike around in front of the other cars. In theory, you should know how to ride your bike, so you'd know what the timing is that's safe and what the timing is that's unsafe. But I think, yeah, beginners could still probably end up pulling in front of a moving car and getting T-boned. So the Nidankai Usetsu, the hook turn, is the solution to that. I think it works for low-powered bikes. So that leads me to the next point. If they're using 125s to replace 110s and 125s to replace 50cc bikes starting the end of this year, why not give them just a little bit more power so that they can accelerate through something like that and not really have to worry? And it eliminates a whole class of turn that's a little bit stressful for some scooter riders. I don't know. To me, it would have been smarter to do it that way. Again, I don't have all the data and the research, so there might be another reason why that's not the acceptable way of doing things. Yeah. And finally, on the topic of power, I also think that making the bikes a little bit more powerful or allowing for a little bit more horsepower or power output makes sense. If you have a bigger engine, you give the person who's riding the bigger bike a little bit more carrying capacity. I never had a major problem, but when my wife and I go to Costco, you can hear the bike lagging. You can definitely feel the lack of power. Sometimes even a little bit of, not trouble, but it takes a little bit more effort or oomph to get it up to 30. Where I think if I had just a little bit more horsepower, a little bit more torque, it might have been a little bit more comfortable of a ride for me. And if I wanted to go camping on it, having that little extra power means I can carry what I need to carry for my camping trip a little bit more comfortably or conveniently. Since the engine's capable of that a little bit more easily, I think, yeah, detuning the 125s and 110s the way they're going to seems like a little bit of a waste to me. This is not one of the main topics I was thinking about today, but I'm also wondering what it's going to do for modified bikes. Because I think taking a 50 and giving it more power is a little bit more difficult or challenging from like a base model than it is to take a detuned 125 and just tune it normally. So I wonder if young kids might actually get back into customizing their motorcycles again. I think swapping, I'm not sure how the manufacturers are planning to detune the bikes at this point, but I think swapping the cam, putting in a higher compression piston, something like that, it's probably going to be complex for people who don't know how to work on engines, but I think fairly easy to boost the power on a 125. The bottom end should be capable of the extra power, whereas if I tried to boost the power on this bike, I'm not sure how far I can go before more major changes need to be made. So I guess we'll see when they start releasing 125s that are 50cc class, how Japan and people respond to them. It'll be interesting for sure. But I'm really, really sad that it's the end of that era. And my wife and I both have some of the last 50cc bikes ever made, so we can enjoy them while we have them. Anyone else have any opinions about the end of 50cc bikes? And I think any opinion about it is interesting, so I'm open to hear anything you have to say. Leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Get out there and ride safe. Oh yeah, there was a crazy accident there yesterday. I wanted to stop to take a picture, but the police officer made an angry face, so